Welcome back, everybody, to the Renaissance Humanism podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Riley. In today's episode, I'll be discussing why we need young people. It's more appropriately for me to say why we need family. We need family, we need young people to look after the elderly and pay taxes. Due to the declining demographics throughout Europe, throughout most of the developed world, especially in places like China, South Korea, Japan, Russia, Germany, there's going to be more old people than there are young people. So the pyramid will be an inverted pyramid. There'll be more old people at the top of the system than there are at the bottom of the system. That means for young people, they're going to have to pay more taxes. They're going to have to do more work looking after the elderly and make sure they can maintain themselves. This kind of system will most likely be unsustainable because young people, people in their 20s and 30s, they don't want to be spending all their money looking after the elderly, looking after the older people. And those are people who are not even related to. So one reason why people should have families, have children, is that when you get into your old age and retirement, especially with the welfare system, with the pension system being built like a pyramid scheme, is not sustainable. And if you have children, if you have enough of them, they can look after you in your dotage, in your old age. When you start going infirm, when you start getting Alzheimer's, they can start looking after you people as well, looking after their actual old relatives and pay the expense for that. Obviously, if the situation keeps deteriorating, policies such as euthanasia might have to be implemented because I don't see the population being able to afford to care for the elderly in taxation to care to run the national health services and medical systems within each different nation as well. If there's too many old people, there's also to be the state as well. When people get too old, they can't walk, they can't move, they can't really feed themselves, they might have dementia, they might shit themselves, they just can't look after themselves. And policies like euthanasia may start to be implemented and brought into the Western political systems. That was something that was very proactive, something that was very unfrowned upon in places such as the Far East, where they had suicides, where they had the kamikazes, and that kind of culture was acceptable. The West, due to the growth of Christianity since the time of the Roman Empire, which existed from 227 BC until the collapse of the Western Roman Empire 476 AD, Christianity has flourished and brought its moralities and ethics. Now, with the West now living in more increasingly de-Christianized, maybe a more pagan society, policies such as euthanasia may be implemented because, again, you can't afford to the elder because the boomer generation that was born between 1946 and 1964, for various reasons, due to industrialization, due to feminism, due to other factors, and also to the choice not to affect their lifestyles, chose not to have children. And because they've chosen not to have children, there's not enough people now in the tax system that are able to pay for their retirement. That's why, most likely for myself, I'm nearly 27 years old. Chances are I won't be able to retire until my late 70s, possibly even 80s, compared to the boomer generation who gets to retire at age 65. Because of that, really don't see the current system, economic system, surviving. I think we could be looking at a return to a more primitive economy as well, because you need to have enough young people in the system to pay into the taxation system for people that retire as well. Because most people between the ages of 55 and 65 in that time frame, it's usually when they're earning the most money because they've got the experience, they've got the expertise. And that's where they invest more and more of their money into retirement. Um, but they don't understand they're not paying for their retirement, they're paying for the generation above them to retire. Most of the greatest generation, born between 1919 and 1924, most of them are now dead. The boomer generation is the greatest generation, the largest generation that has ever been in the history of humanity. A generation, barring the United States of America, barring France, barring New Zealand, those nations actually had a succeeding generation. For most other places, barring African continent, they didn't have any children. That's something to be aware of as well. So you need young people to keep the economy running, to pay taxes, to look after the elderly, to fight wars, and to do strenuous activities as well. That pretty much goes up the reason why we need young people in our societies. Thanks for listening. Please leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe, and peace out.